That's why I tell foreigners all the time.
Tama.
Have you noticed what the best caregivers in the world,
Yes,
the
our
Filipinos?
Filipino, oo.
Because the nonverbal cues, their awareness, it just lends itself to taking care of people in an excellent fashion that other people can't, right? When I hire someone, inevitably, they always have an agenda because we're people. That's natural. But when I hire someone, I intentionally completely ignore that agenda until I have seen them wholeheartedly and consistently pick up our agenda. Now, when they're doing that for a while, now I start to become interested in their agenda. And I think it's unahin natin kung ano talagang trabaho natin.
Money Masters with Chinky Tan.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on Chink Positive are their own and do not necessarily represent those of the producers, hosts, or network. Chink Positive is for entertainment and informational purposes only, while guests may share insights on financial and business topics. This does not imply endorsement of any products or services. Viewers should perform with their own research.
Today, here with us is a respected basketball mind, speaker, coach, and he is right now an author of a book called Guiding Your Child's Athletics Journey. So let us welcome in our show today, Coach Alex Compton. Palakpakan naman. Coach Alex!
Thank you, Jakey.
Kamusta ka na?
Okay naman, bumabata ako.
Okay, tingnan si Coach Alex sa puting-puti pero kung managalog, diretso na diretso. Well, we missed you a lot. Yeah, right now you're based in America, right?
Yeah, Madison, Wisconsin. It wasn't our plan. You know, we're a COVID casualty in a sense that way. So went to visit and got stuck there, and we've been there since COVID.
Well, okay, a lot of people probably have seen you in the PBA when you were still playing. Pero during that time, hindi ka pa marunong managalog.
Ay, wala. Zero.
Zero?
Yep, zero. So my parents are fluent in Thai and Lao. They'd spent a lot of their time in Thailand and Laos.
Okay.
And it just so happened that most of our friends, our Asian friends, were Thai and Lao and the people around us. So didn't grow up with any Filipinos. And then actually nung nasa Cornell ako, sa coach's office ako, nanood kami ng mga video. I was a captain and I was with an assistant coach. So tinanong ko siya. Sabi ko, Coach, I know you played in different places around the world, and I've traveled and lived different places around the world. Where'd you play? So he told me a couple places. Tapos isa dyan was the Philippines. And so when he said, oh, and then I played in the Philippines, I said, you played in the Philippines? I was born there. That's crazy. I've never had a birth certificate. I always have to bring my passport because my birth certificate's in the Philippines. He said, you were born in the Philippines? Oh my gosh, that was my favorite place to play. You absolutely love it. You should be able to go play there. Let me connect you with an agent. And that kind of started everything. So I learned really quickly. So I used to be fluent in Thai. So I thought when I came to the Philippines, I'd learn really quickly. Ang problema sa inyong mga Pilipino, ang galing nyo mag-English. So every time somebody saw my face, I would start to say, excuse me, Po, saan ba? And they would say, oh, let me help you. Where do you want to go? I'll just and I was like, oh, okay. So it actually made the process a lot harder.
Oo nga.
And when it took longer, there was a point I quit, and there was a good life lesson in there. There was a point I quit because I was getting really frustrated that I wasn't succeeding. And I had a little bit of intellectual pride around. I've learned a language really fast. I expect to learn it fast. And then I realized that the context was different, and it's going to be harder, and it's going to take longer, but I need to put my head down and do the work. So I had a tutor. I met with her 2 to 3 times a week, and I just asked all my teammates, speak to me in Tagalog. I know how to say, hindi ko naintindihan, and anong ibig sabihin yan. And so I said that all the time for a few years, but after a few years, then I was pretty good.
Wow. So how long did it take you?
Siguro mga 3 years bago iwan mo ako sa kwarto na puro Pilipino lang.
Amazing.
Then I was okay.
Yeah. So yun nga, you become one of the most beloved player here in the Philippines.
In my family, maybe.
No. That's not true. Sa palagay mo, nakatulong ba yun kasi marunong ka managalog during the time?
You know, it was an interesting benefit. Hindi ko naisip.
Yeah, at the same time, parang may effort kasi na isang banyaga na natututo ng parang local dialect. And do you speak Bisaya also?
Gamay lang ba?
Gamay. And likewise, on my end kasi, I get to travel. I was born and raised here in Manila.
Yeah.
But I learned how to speak Bisaya.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. So that's the reason why the Bisaya people love me also, because I made an effort.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So my wife is from Mindanao. She was born in Cebu. So her heart language is Bisaya. Actually, pangatlong salita niya is Tagalog. It's Bisaya, English, and then Tagalog.
Oh.
So it's funny nga, when I was learning Tagalog, one of my teammates was from Cebu.
Oh.
And so he was a point guard, Gilbert Demape. And so people would ask me, because syempre Amerikano, right? Yung punto mo iba.
Yeah.
So you haven't learned yet how to. So people would say, parang Chinese Bisaya ka. Ano ka ba? Amerikano ka, pero ibang punto mo. Chinese Bisaya ka nga. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to copy and learn, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, ano naman yung challenges? What were your challenges, siyempre, being as a basketball player during that time?
Just learning the culture. You know, I think a lot of foreigners, well, sasabihin ko mga Amerikano, I think it's true of any foreigner into a new culture, is picking up the cultural nuances, diba? Like, isa sa mga strength ng mga Pilipino is ang taas ng EQ ng Pinoy.
Oo.
Ang taas. Pero strength nga yan,
Pero
pwede rin
naging
maging weakness.
O FYI, ano EQ? Ang EQ po ay diaper. Yung kulay green sa gabi. Hindi. Emotional quotient po. Kasi masyadong maramdamin.
Kaya nga, so there's two negative things that I saw that can play out if you don't manage them when you have a high IQ. And the one is, your strength is you're really sensitive to other people's needs. That's why I tell foreigners all the time.
Tama.
Have you noticed what the best caregivers in the world are Filipinos?
Our Filipino, oo.
Because the nonverbal cues, their awareness, it just lends itself to taking care of people in an excellent fashion that other people can't, right? Kaya lang, yung weakness is one, madali kang ma-offend minsan.
Masyadong maramdamin.
Hindi naman sinasadya ng tao, offensive pala kasi dapat alam nila, lalo na sa mga foreigner.
Oo.
Right? Hindi namin alam. Hindi naman Pilipino eh. Then you go like, mali yun. Anong ginawa ko? Ba't galit sa akin yan? Right? So, because there's cultural differences.
Exactly.
Ang pangalawa dyan, napaka-creative talaga ang Pilipino.
Yeah.
Pero sa sensitivity at respect sa mga otoridad, minsan, kung magsasalita si boss, tama siya. Ikaw, you're a creative genius, but you don't share it because you're sensitive na baka ma-offend si boss. Pero yung sagot, nasa iyo.
Tama.
So it also gets in the way of maximizing some things. So,
galing.
Ganda ng, kaya lang magastos talaga.
Oo nga.
Kasi umiikot kami sa buong Pilipinas. So eroplano, hotel, pagkain ng mga player, matatakaw kami ng mga player eh. Lahat yan sagot ng mga boss. So magastos siya.
Siyempre pagka ikaw ay professional player, no, you get paid, diba? During the time, were you able to manage your finances wisely?
Not as wisely as I'd wished, and at the same time, so the bad basis of comparison that made me feel good about it was comparing to other professional players.
Did that happen to you?
Meaning that watching how some guys blew their money, going, oh, I'm doing a pretty good job.
Okay.
But especially my first few years, I wasn't saved yet. So I never like bought nice clothes or fancy cars or anything like that, but I drank a lot. And I was a happy drinker. So I would buy people shots or buy like, hey, come here, man, I got you. You know, like, generous to a fault.
Yes.
That like, did I just spend 8,000 pesos tonight at the bar in 1999?
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
But I'm so happy to see people and be around them that, yes, I did. And it wasn't like I was making 500,000 pesos a month at the time.
Exactly.
So it was like that, you know, just dumb 24-year-old. Yeah. So in that sense, no. But at the same time, I didn't waste it on frivolous things either, like, oh, I need this brand new fancy. That wasn't me either.
So yung naubos ka sa medyo sa drinking. So if you can turn back the hands of time, what would you do differently?
I wouldn't have spent so much time at the bar. But I would have planned better. I mean, the one thing I did do that was good was I was kind of helping. So I paid off all my college loans immediately because when I transferred to Cornell University, they don't give scholarships. So I gave up a full ride scholarship, and then I transferred to Cornell, and I had to pay a lot. My parents had to pay a lot. So I was able to pay off my and my parents' college loans in the first 2 years.
Wow.
So usually in the US, you don't get rid of student loans that fast. I'm like, I don't like that. I don't want it. And then I got a really good contract, and I started paying off my parents' house. And so I felt good about that. You know, and then did that for a while. But then when you play in the PBL, you don't make PBA money.
Yeah, exactly. Iba yan eh.
So I was making enough to be happy, but it wasn't like, I think kung gusto ko, bili ako ng BM. That wasn't an option.
At yun nga, the single most wasteful thing and the most frustrating thing also that can happen to you, mga kapatid, is comparison. Because comparison is a thief of joy. You will never be happy. You will live a very miserable life if you start to compare. Would you agree?
Oh, I've seen it play out too much.
Yeah. Galing. So, right now, syempre, whether we like it or not, nahirapan ka ba mag-transition from playing to coaching?
Yes and no. So, kumbaga, siguro, kasi, kilala mo si Steve Cad?
Oo naman.
Oh, so, I was actually in a movie. Akala mo, ikaw lang. So, I was in a movie and Steve was the director.
Okay.
And it was down in Mindanao. And I remember talking to him about the transition that people make from acting to directing
Yeah.
and from playing to coaching. And it's like, same industry, so you know the industry, radically different roles, radically different perspectives.
Yes.
So, sa umpisa, akala mo, as a player, I played so long. Alam ko na to. Alam ko kung paano dapat. And then you become a coach, and you're like, wait, I didn't see this side of it. I didn't see this angle. I have a lot to learn. I need to be more humble. I need to understand my role as an assistant. Like, isa sa mga unang mali ko, God bless Coach Leo Austria, he's such a good man. He was so patient with me. But I thought, naturally, when you go from player to coach, dapat mas madaldal ka. When you go from point guard, so it's your job to run the team and be a leader on the floor, kailangan madaldal ka. When you go to assistant coach, kailangan makinig ka. And then there's times where you're supposed to talk.
Sana kapulutan natin ng aral to. Guys, ito lang If you work for someone, or if you are working with a leader, your job, my job, is to make their life easier. That's number one. Your job and my job is to make him shine. Am I right by saying
100%.
that? Kasi minsan yun nga nagkakaroon ng problema We work for someone, pero instead of making their lives easier, we make their lives harder. Di ba? Perfect example lang. May pinagawa sa yung boss mo. Dapat ikaw nagre-report at nag-update sa kanyang boss. Ito na nangyari. So, ano nangyari? Wala nangyari. Sasabihin boss, ano nangyari? So, ikaw magre-report ka. Pagkatapos, ano nangyari? So, it's very reactive, not proactive.
100%. I actually heard, and I believe it was also a pastor, say, when I hire someone, inevitably, they always have an agenda.
Yeah.
Because we're people. That's natural, right? There's nothing wrong with having one. But when I hire someone, I intentionally, completely ignore that agenda until I have seen them wholeheartedly and consistently pick up our agenda. Now, when they're doing that for a while, now I start to become interested in their agenda. And I think it's unahin natin kung ano talagang trabaho natin.
Alam nyo, ito, I just, pasensya na kayo, medyo magtatagal tayo dito. Two things that I've learned from this short conversation of ours. If you really want to become successful in life, gusto mo talaga magtagumpay, huwag mo isipin yung sarili mong agenda. Kasi human nature, iniisip talaga natin. Lahat tayo, wala namang masama doon na gusto mo. Pero one thing that I learned from one of my greatest mentor, the late Zig Ziglar, which I still apply up to this very day, just help enough other people to get what they want. And you will also get what you want in life. Ang agenda mo, paano ko siya matutulungan? Ang agenda mo, paano ka makaka-add value sa ibang tao? And once you give to others, it will come back to you. So, today, you're not just known for a coach, but also, grabe, speaker, a mentor. Right now, you are an author. Can you share with us, about what inspired you to write the book?
Well, off cam, before we got up here, we were talking about our mutual friend and one of my best friends, Wallace Panlilio. So, Wallace is an EdPsych PhD. And he co-authored a book with a cognitive neuroscientist based on a holistic learning model for kids. So it's to help parents understand how to create these learning models for kids and best practices. So Wallace and Artyom, the gentleman who wrote the first, Dr. Wallace and Dr. Artyom, found all this amazing research, put it together, and they were thinking, there's something here combined with our research that will really help parents. Sabi mo, diba? You just said, find a way to help people.
Yeah.
And their heart is, how do we help parents? How do we help parents? How do we help parents? So they put this thing together and they wrote this amazing book. That's the first one, Wisest Learners for Parents. They wrote one for teachers. Si Wallace kasi, headmaster ng school dati. So he's been in education for a long time. And then they wrote one for kids. And he asked me and my co-author, Kevin Delafu, he said, hey guys, do you guys want to write one for parents of athletes? And sa amin, easy ano yan because my life was in basketball and then coaching. And Kevin played in the PBL, he's Phil-Am. But he runs a high school. He's the head of the high school, and he's also a coach, and he has 2 kids.
Saan? Sa America o dito?
Sa California. So we wrote a book for parents who have their kids involved in sports. And, the great thing about sports, I think, if you think about it, ewan ko kung naranasan mo to, but parents don't walk into math class and go,
yeah,
3 times 6. 3 times 6. Is he gonna get it? Is he gonna 18? Yes, he did it. Woo! They don't yell at the teacher. I don't classing test, Dad, in the middle of the right. But you go to a sporting event,
yeah,
and we're like that.
Yeah.
right? You get involved. There's such a level of emotion around sports that can be good or bad.
Yeah.
It depends on how you manage it, right? So you see that on the court, on the field, and all those things. And so a lot of it for us was there's this verse about drawing the hearts of the sons to the fathers and the hearts of the fathers to the sons. And
Yeah.
of course, mother and daughters are included in this. I have a
Mm.
daughter. It's for all parents and all kids, but it's for us. We want youth sports to be something where you build amazing memory, you develop character, and then you set yourself up for success in life because you learn to work with other people. You learn to push past some things that you thought you couldn't overcome. You learn to deal with in sports adversity in a safe place
Yes.
because the kids care, right? How many times have you seen a kid crying
Mm.
from 7 to 18?
When they
About
lose a game.
losing a game,
Yeah.
about making a mistake,
Yeah.
about something. You're gonna go through some pain,
Grabe.
but it's a safe place.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna go home and you're gonna eat. You're gonna go back to wherever you are.
And tomorrow there's another game.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to die and it's life or death, but because you care about it so much, it teaches you how to deal with some emotions. It
Galing.
teaches you how to build some character. So we thought it'd be a really powerful
Yeah.
thing to help parents with, and that's kind of our heart behind it.
Yeah, totoo yun. Guys, no? Parang when we enroll our kids to sports, like for example, my daughter with ballet,
Mm.
she started when she was 3 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Right now, she's a ballerina and right now taking masters at
Wow.
UK.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yung discipline niya,
Yeah.
carried over yun hanggang ngayon. Her consistency, ano talaga, that's the sport of ballet or the art of ballet really taught her grit and pain,
Mhm.
consistency. Importante talaga yun. So, on that book, on the book that you wrote, ano yung practical application na makukuha ng mga parents?
Yun, marami. So ang ginawa namin, di ba, parang so much happens in parenting, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
much happens in sports. We can't cover it all. And ang gusto namin ni Kevin is kami yung unang aamin na mali kami dito. So
Yeah.
some of our stories are about our failures.
Yeah, what's one parenting mistake probably you've included in the book?
So like one, for example, that I've made on multiple occasions is not understanding at my kid's age where they're at developmentally for understanding certain things.
Wow.
So I just get done coaching as a head coach of Alaska for 5 years. I deal with grown men. Some of them I coached were 40 years old.
Yeah.
My kids aren't 40 years old. They're not 23 years old,
Yeah.
right? I was coaching with Gila, same thing, the national team. So my background was always coaching men. And now I've got 2 boys and a girl. And so sometimes without thinking, your instinct is about
Yeah.
what you knew were
As a coach,
here.
yeah.
And you haven't thought intentionally to, teka muna 7 lang to. Teka
Oh.
muna 9 lang to.
Oh, oh.
Am I being fair? Am I holding them to a fair
Yeah.
standard? Or do they even actually understand what I'm saying, what that means? Kasi minsan tayo mga magulang, alam natin kung anong gusto natin. Ang tanong, alam ba nila?
Tama.
Naintindihan ba nila? Kasi minsan hindi eh. Actually, that's a common mistake. Is
Exactly.
that we're well-intentioned and we know what we want. Ang problema, sila, hindi nila alam. They don't know what we want and it might take some explanation to help them understand.
Yeah. I can still remember talagang. That's the reason why I hate schooling. I never finished my formal degree.
Mm.
I failed grade 6 4 times.
Mm.
Because during the time when my mom was teaching me, she was really torturing me.
Mm.
Talagang palo,
Mm.
wala, hanger, wala. So, there's so much trauma.
Yeah.
But I cannot blame them because they don't know better.
Mm.
But right now, guys, let me tell you this. May opportunity na tayo na matuto. Bakit? There's internet. There's already books. There's a lot of people who are sharing. So I want to plead with you right now as a child to learn how to forgive the trespasses or pagkakamali ng mga magulang mo because they don't know better. But surely, you right now, becoming a parent yourself right now, you should know better na wag na rin nating ipasa yung mga pagkakamali. So meron na tayong mga tools. We have Alex and people who can share with us life lessons. And in my 26 years of being a parent, I've realized, iba palang 0 to 2, iba pala yung 3 to 6 years old, iba pala yung 7 to 12, iba yung 13 and above. Guys, ulitin ko it took us 14 to 16 years to study a course to graduate. And yet, at times, even if we graduate, we fail in the corporate world, in real life. So, dito, parenting, walang school. Yung school natin talagang, nandyan na talaga. Kaya nga, I just want to encourage you na pwedeng pag-aralan eh. You can learn. There are two ways to learn: through your own mistakes and experiences, or second, through other people's mistakes and experiences. And for me, children are just like wet cement. Mga semento sila eh, nabasa. When you made an imprint, it lasts for a lifetime. Habang buhay yan na maalala. Kaya nga, ang tanong, anong gusto mong habang bata pa yung mga anak natin? Diba? Anong gusto mong ipaalala at maiwan na alaala sa kanyang mga anak? Mabuting alaala o hindi magandang alaala? So, it's a choice that we need to make as parents right now. You know why? Again, I hope, medyo ano lang to, no? Medyo emotional ng konti. Because I do believe no amount of success in business, in society, can compensate for failure in the family.
Well, and let's say this, right? And I was just telling Wallace this morning. Let's say, halimbawa, swimming ang ng anak natin, yung talagang sport nila. Talo si Michael Phelps sa kanila. I mean, 10 ang kanilang gold medal sa isang Olympics, right? Something crazy. I mean, like, history will remember your child for their greatness, and your child wishes they don't remember you. Is that worth it for you? You don't get to see your grandkids, but the gold medals there? If that's your value system, I don't get to control that. That's your value system. I want no part of that. I want to be with my kids. I want to see my grandkids. I want to have this relationship. And syempre, ideally would be both. Oh, talo si Michael Phelps and mahal niya ako. Great, if that happens, wonderful. But the truth is, probably nobody in the world will ever get 10 gold medals in Olympics if that's your goal, right? And a lot of our goals are pretty crazy. But even if they do, where are your priorities at? When you're sitting next to your father in the hospital, do you feel that way? Or when you're there, are they there? I mean, that's a big thought.
So, Alex, you mentioned, probably this is my last question to you. You mentioned before that you live a life without direction. You know, you want to go out to party during that time, be with friends. What made you turn your life around and you realize that you need to have purpose and direction in life?
So I saw something right before I came to the Philippines, and I saw a change in my brother, and it coincided. My brother was the closest person to me in the world, and it coincided with him starting to talk about this Jesus thing and the Bible. And you know, honestly, I'd be like, shut up, man, don't tell me that stuff, let's go drink. You know, I mean, that's just honestly where I was at.
Is he younger or older?
He's older.
Okay.
Kuya ko yan. Idol ko talaga yan.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't want to hear that. And because kuya ko, ang dami niyang utos sa akin palagi growing up. Like, I'm not following that crap. You know, that ganun talagang ugali ko.
Yeah.
But because I saw a change, I really noticed it.
What was the change?
He had a heart and a compassion for people that he had never had before. He had a real, like, anger
Before?
this all happened. And it happened really, like, close to before I came out in the Philippines. So I noticed it, and it got me curious, but there's no way I was going to look into it with him around.
Yeah.
You know, the feeling of don't tell me what to do. So I came to the Philippines, and I got a Bible, and I started reading in Matthew, because what I knew was he was talking stuff about Jesus, and the Jesus stuff was in the New Testament. That's what I knew. I obviously wasn't some scholar or something. So I started reading, and I don't, you know, my parents are intellectuals. I went to a great university. Always critical think. Who wrote it? Why? Don't just accept it. Whatever. It's the only time I read something where I felt like it was true. I don't know how to explain it. There wasn't a lot of analysis. It was just hitting me. I wasn't changing like by picking something up and reading it, but it was like, I don't know what to say other than it felt true. So I started reading more, and then I actually started going to church with a drinking buddy. So when I wasn't too hungover to go to church, I would start showing up. And
That was when? What year?
1999.
Okay.
And I would try not to breathe on the ushers.
Yeah.
Kasi amoy chico eh. Amoy alak eh. So, you know, we walk in, they shake your hands, they're like, how you doing? And the guy's here, like, oh, great, thank you. Because, you know, I was drinking till 5. So I started going in, and I would skip the singing part. And then I'm just being honest. This is how I thought. I'm skipping the singing part. That's stupid. That's for girls.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Right? I'll go in when the guy's talking. So I'd go in when the guy's talking. And it felt like the guy was talking to me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it felt like. I didn't know the guy. He didn't know me. But it felt like he was talking to me.
Yeah.
And so I slowly started. And then Jonathan Bacobo and Joseph Carodan started doing stuff, a Bible study with Manila Metro Stars. So I started going and learning and listening. And I lived a block away from the church where Pastor Jonathan Bukova was. He'd always, like once a week, he'd say, "Hey, you want to grab some coffee?"
Yeah.
I turned him down so many times. Eto, aminado lang ako. I'm not saying this is right. I could see from my apartment window his church. And I would say, "Oh, sorry, Pastor, I'm really busy. I can't make it today." I was drinking beer and playing Tiger Woods golf with my buddy. Like all the time, like I'm super busy. Right? Like I had something important going on. So I'd blow him off. He's like, "Okay, no problem. It's cool. Anytime." And then I would eventually meet him because I felt bad because he was a nice guy. So after like a month and a half, I go, "Okay, we go." And then I talked to him and it was like, it would be really impactful. And it was slowly, and I got to a point, Chinky, honestly, the craziest thing happened. Everything I ever wanted in life, my dream was to be good enough to play at an Ivy League school. I told my brother this when I was 11. Sabi ko kay Kuya, well, I didn't speak Tagalog, I said it in English, but my dream is to be good enough to play basketball at an Ivy League school and good enough to play overseas. My dream was never the NBA. I was 11 years old. And I graduated from Cornell University, and now I'm playing in the Philippines. And like a lot of men in the world, I wanted the prettiest girl. I was going out with the next Miss Philippines. I just won the NBA MVP. We just won the championship. I've got commercials and billboards. When there's a line at a bar to go in, people would lift the rope and say, "Oh, Mr. Compton, come on in." Even if I wasn't up to the dress code, I was feeling way too good about myself and meeting politicians and celebrities. And honestly, when I got to that top, with all these endorsements, I'd never felt more empty because it was like, I'm making more money than I thought I would ever make. I'm with the who's crowd. Eto lang ba? I can't go higher. I'm not good enough to play in the NBA. This is my top. Why do I feel so empty? And I started drinking more. It's the only time I ever missed a practice. I missed 2 days of practice. I just went on a drinking binge. And then I just realized, okay, I'm just going to surrender my life to the Lord. And that to me was the really big change. But it was a process.
Wow.
It took time. And the craziest thing for me was when I got everything I thought I wanted. That's when I felt my worst.
Wow. So you mean to say you are at the top of your game, you have already achieved what you want, and when you realize you climb the corporate ladder of success or the ladder of success, and you realize the ladder of success is facing the wrong one.
Absolutely. And I felt sick.
So that was a time you made the decision to surrender your life.
Yeah.
And then what happened next?
It was kind of crazy, the amount of peace and joy I felt. And it was still a process. It wasn't like in any way that I became perfect, and far from that now. But there was this relationship and this peace and this joy and this real love for other people. I always liked being around people, but there was like a real love for people in a different way.
Yeah.
And a perspective. I just had never had that piece of not having to strive or perform. Basketball is a performance sport.
Yes.
So if I have a bad game, I'm a bad guy afterwards.
Yes.
I mean, that's just what happened. I would be moody and
exactly.
Just, pardon my friend, I would be pissed
You're
off.
only
and
good
treat
at your
people
last
bad,
game.
But I would act like I'm pretty happy-go-lucky. This is the one thing I cared about. You wouldn't like me much after we lost because I'd be moody and masongit and all those things. And so after, then it was like, did I put my best on the floor? Did I try my hardest? We lost. Okay, learn from it. But I would like have peace. Like I tried. I was just really bad today. There was just there was a total like sort of mental, spiritual shift and an outward focus more than an inward one. Other people began to matter more than just like me, take.
Wow.
So, and then a lot of other things, but I don't want to talk to you till tomorrow.
Amazing. Well, anyway, if there's someone out there right now, after listening to your story, they feel lost. They feel they haven't done enough. They feel that, yes, I have probably either they have done enough and haven't done enough, or probably they have achieved already what they want in life, but they still felt empty. So probably can speak to them right now. What word of advice and encouragement can you give them?
The thing that blew me away and I hope will impact you is that really just like a really good father, your success or your failure, in a sense, it doesn't really matter. He loves you. That you might have struggled and come short and blown it and failed, or you might have gotten everything. It doesn't matter. That stuff, he loves you. And more than anything, that's what changed my life. And I hope that you'll experience the depth of that love and know that you're worth it. You're worth everything he had to offer, which is the most valuable thing in the history of the world, the Son, Jesus Christ.
If you're out there right now and you feel that you want to have what Alex have, the peace that he said, whether success, whether failure, whether you win, whether you lose, you still have the peace of God. If you want that to have that peace, I want to encourage you to a short prayer that will really direct you to the Prince of Peace, and that is no other than God Himself. With your permission, Alex, can you pray for them?
Just follow me in this prayer if that's how you feel. Lord, just thank you. Kahit anong mga ginawa ko, kahit puro tagumpay naman, feeling ko minsan puro talo, puro kulang ginawa ko. Alam ko, nandiyan po kayo. Thank you, Lord, na kahit I've sinned and fallen short again and again. Even though mali talaga ako, Lord, I accept your love for me. Thank you, Lord Jesus, para sa inyong sakripisyo para sa akin. Thank you for dying for me on the cross, that I might experience your love. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Guys, if you prayed that short prayer, I want to encourage you, type in the comment section, I prayed, so we can stand with you. Alam po namin na may himala na gagawin ang Diyos sa buhay mo. Maniwala ka kung napunan ni Lord ang buhay ni Alex na nabigyan ka na talaga binigyan siya ng kapayapaan, binigyan siya ng kasiyahan sa buhay. Yan din ang gagawin ng Diyos para sa inyo. Thank you very much, Alex.
Always a pleasure, Chinky.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you so much.
So guys, please grab his book. When will it be released here in the Philippines?
So it's actually out now,
Yeah.
and fully booked.
Yeah.
And then you can get it on Amazon Kindle, and it's available on Amazon in the US.
Okay. So how do they get in touch with you? Just in case some people want to reach out to you.
Alam mo, ito ang problema ko.
Ano?
Wala akong social media.
Ano?
Tinatago ko lang sarili ko. Sorry. It's something my wife keeps telling me about. Like, you gotta get out there. I'm like, I'm a simple guy. But yeah.
So honestly, you don't have any social.
The only thing I have is LinkedIn for my business.
LinkedIn. What's the name of the LinkedIn?
I want to say it's Alex Compton USPH or something. It's my name with USPH.
Yeah.
Dahil Amerikanong Pilipino.
Oh, sige, hanapin nyo na lang. Hanapin nyo na lang. Thank you very much. Challenge natin si Alex naman, mag-ipon. Oo, mag-ipon. Tignan nga natin kung nag-iipon to si Alex. Kung hindi, para sa mga anak na lang niya.
Oh, ano to?
You know, this is a deck of cards. It's called Ipon cards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so you gotta teach me. I don't know what this is.
No, every day, you just need to pick a card. Okay, just pick one card.
I don't. Magic.
Hindi magic yan. And then, please read kung ano nun sa, ano.
Sakto.
Bakit?
No more Yossi and Alak challenge. Bawal na munang bumili ng Yossi o Alak. Ang amount na matitipid mo ang ihulog mo sa iyong ipon box.
Oh, yeah. And this is the Ipon box. I'll give you a couple of this so that you can give to your kids. This one, like for example, it's 100 pesos. You put it 100 pesos here.
Okay.
Shade this.
Okay.
And then put the money, the coin here and the paper money. You just only just circle it and then put it inside. Don't forget the start date, end date. What are you saving for?
Oh, that's awesome.
Since most of them are using dollars, so you can use this other for for the dollars thing.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Chinky.
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
3 kids.
3 kids. So we'll give them 5 kung meron. Para lahat. So you can start teaching them on how to save.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. You know, you're a blessing to so many people. I wish we were friends like way back when I was a kid. This would have been so helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, it's developing the habit of savings.
Yeah,
It's
awesome.
Yeah, once they are open, they will follow. Again, maraming salamat, Alex. You're such a blessing also. Let's grab Alex's book. No, I'm sure I'll buy one definitely sa fully book. Alam ko makakatulong yan lalo sa mga magulang kung may mga anak kayo. Again, wag na natin mag-trial and error. Kawawa naman yung mga anak natin. Kung may mga pamamaraan tayo na gumanda ang ating parenting strategy kung paano natin makakausap at makakonect sa ating mga anak, laking tulong po yan. Kaya maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsama. Kung may mga natutunan po kayo sa episode natin na ito, paki-comment na lang po sa comment section. Huwag nyo kalimutan mag-subscribe. Tatandaan, tamang karunungan, tamang disiplina po ang susi sa pagyaman.
The candle makers never saw the invention of the light bulb. They could only make the candle as good as a candle can be. But nung pumasok yung light bulb, it's a totally different ballgame. So I am the candle maker. I was able to grow Carmen's Best from 0 to a certain level. And when the MVP group came in, they saw it take another growth spurt. Sometimes you have to find inspiration or reason to keep on doing what you're doing. Success is living the life that you want, not having to impress anyone or just being yourself. So there's nothing to prove.